Happy, it's Friday. Yes. Every day's the same. You know, I like to live my life like every day is Friday. I know that sounds psychotic, because that would mean you've been working every day. But that's what I mean. I'm working every day on myself. Yeah, not just my skills in copywriting, but also my physical and mental health. It's very important. All right, so what did I touch on last time? Learning your fundamentals, how to not over fluff your emails, some interviewing tips, and setting up payments, right? Because you're new, you're a newbie. We've all been there. And even the greats had to start at one time, right? And you're sitting there going, I have no experience, I've never had a job, and if I don't have a job, how am I gonna show experience or a portfolio? Well, you don't have to have a portfolio to land a lot of jobs out there. It is preferred if you want to ever go to an agency. Yes, you're going to need one. As a freelancer, you don't necessarily have to have one, but it does help you. It is like building up your reputation in a way other than just your resume. And even then, you won't even have a resume because you're new. Okay, you're new. You don't have a resume, you don't have a portfolio. That's okay. You can still get started. You hear a lot of times that you don't need experience, you don't even have to be a good writer. You've heard me rant about that before. You know what I've said. You still got to know your fundamentals and of everything. Not just copy, but also like interviewing, payments. You got to know your fundamentals there, guys. Have your foundation laid before you try to land new clients. But you're new. Okay, you know that. You're doing that. Still going to get started. You've heard me say it before. Go on your emails, right? You got an email? If you don't, well, obviously you have to have one if you're going to be a copywriter. I'm assuming you have one. Go on there. I'm assuming you've entered your email address into enough places on websites that you're receiving emails. Go through those emails, rewrite them. You've heard me say this before. Build your practice portfolio. And make sure you label it as such, practice portfolio. And make sure if a client sees it, they understand that. You never want them to misunderstand. It'll come off insincere, like you're lying, deception. You don't want to come off that way. You don't want to have to explain to them that it's practice after the fact if they assume that it's not. That's not good. And now, some people might disagree with this. My advice, because you're new, don't just try cold outreaching. Don't just try to do your Instagrams, your Facebook groups, or just trying to find people's emails to these big companies or small companies. You can do that. The more lines in the water. You'll hear me say that a lot. Lines in the water, right? Makes sense. You're fishing analogy. You know, more lines in, better chance to catch a fish. Okay, which means you can eat. So, my advice, and some people out there, especially these gurus, will disagree, is Upwork. And why I think Upwork's great for a new beginner is because it teaches you these fundamentals as you're learning as you go. Because you're sending out proposals, which is like a cold email, only you're sending it to a job that posted on the job board. So they're probably gonna see your proposal. You know, doesn't mean they're gonna get back to you. But where it differs from emails is you never get, it's just like you never get anything back, and you have no idea. You're checking your inbox all the time obsessively, and you're very discouraged. Now, I'm not saying you won't get like that on Upwork, you will. And it does cost a little bit of money for connects, if any of you have been on there before. And a lot of people say it's a race to the bottom, yada, 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 and they're not wrong. There's gonna be a learning experience here though. You're going to lowball yourself and get screwed on prices. That'll teach you, you know, what you think you're actually worth after all the work. I'm worth more. Well, lesson learned. You might overprice something and lose the job. Lesson learned. You might overprice something and land the job and be very surprised and all of a sudden get good results and a testimonial and review, and you're gonna go, wow, okay. You'll also learn how to interview, not just over text, right? Sometimes they just do text stuff and send you a practice thing and you pass it as a trial period and you got the job. Sometimes they give you the job right away just based off your proposal and sometimes your profile. But then you got the interview stage, which happens a lot. You'll go on a Zoom call, looking at their face, just like as if you're in a job interview the old school way. This is the new stuff, right? Zoom. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll introduce themselves and they'll go through a whole thing. You've heard me talk about this before. You got to have a list of questions ready. You know, do your research. We've talked about this. You want to do your research, because if you come in with nothing, they're going to know. Also, be prepared to answer questions about yourself, why you became a copywriter, what other jobs have you worked on. And then I talked about the curveball in the other video, where they might ask you to, right on the spot, do some work that the job requires. And it can be stressful, very stressful. These are all things you have to be prepared for. And I think Upwork helps you tremendously to practice these fundamentals that you will need when you decide to go scaling up with your own landing page and website and services that you sell, maybe even a course someday. Whatever you are wanting to do as a copywriter, I say put in your reps, not just practicing, not just cold outreaching, not just joining a Facebook group or going on LinkedIn, which these are all great avenues, guys. They are. But Upwork is a great place to get your reps in, get your balls beat in, you know, and learn the hard way. Fail forward. That's what I like to do. You know, always learn something. If I go in that interview and I bomb it, I didn't bomb it. Guess what? I might not have gotten the job, but I learned from it. And I have learned so much by screwing up that's going to help me in the long run. So eventually, when I start landing clients through cold outreach, I'm going to be better prepared to articulate what I want to do, articulate to them how I am good at it, my experience. I can reference Upwork jobs. This is what I recommend for anybody that's new. It's Upwork. I know, like I said, a lot of people will say, no, don't do that. It's race to the bottom. It's oversaturated. Well, guess what? It is. They're not wrong, but it doesn't mean you can't learn from it. Also, Fiverr. Fiverr is a good place because you put on, it's gigs, they call it, and you put on, it's basically people add to cart, and your services are like a menu option, and you do different package deals, and you're allowed to do as a newcomer like up to 6 different gigs, which is a lot. Start there too. More lines in the water, and people will reach out to you, and eventually, maybe. Obviously, you're new, you got no experience, but if you're starting now and you just keep at it, and keep adding to the things you offer, try to get up to 6 gigs on there and see what happens. Keep putting in the reps, practicing, putting in the reps on Upwork, sending out proposals. It's giving you practice, guys, for the future. Especially if you're young doing this, this is great. Watch your YouTube videos. Be careful of these bullshit gurus who are trying to actually sell you something. At the end of the day, that YouTube video or that free course that's got 3 free samples is just a lead magnet to their actual paid course. You gotta understand they're business people, right? It's all about business. They're in sales. They don't just do copy. And a lot of these gurus don't even do copy that well, but they do marketing well, right? They're doing marketing well and marketing themselves well. And hats off, seriously, they do it well. So, okay, you're new, you get lines in the water, you want to do everything you can. Now, I know you'll hear a lot of people say stick to one thing. Like, if you want to do Upwork, just do Upwork. If you just want to go on Facebook groups, go on a Facebook group. Instagram, stick to Instagram. And they say that so you're not all over the place. And they're not wrong about that either. I would set up the Fiverr only because it's like a passive thing. Once, not passive income, you still got to work, but it's a passive thing. It's out there and people see it and they'll get to you. You don't got to do anything on there after that. Upwork's great because, like I said, you're doing practice. You're practicing reaching out, looking for jobs, seeing what you like, getting to learn the lingo. It's giving you practice. Now, as far as reaching out, well, more lines in the water means more opportunity. Now, you can join Facebook groups and you can follow people on Instagram, right? It's just, okay, there's LinkedIn. I suggest doing it all, but you got to start somewhere. I would make my Fiverr templates, the 6 gigs, boom, those are done. And then I would start my portfolio on Upwork. I would do those things at the same time, and then start bidding on jobs, getting used to that whole thing. And then, you know, kind of messing around with the cold outreach emails and just see what's going to work for you. But you can do any order you want. That's what's great about this. You're your own boss. You're your own boss. And now, what you have to do, and if you're watched this far in this video, sorry about the bumpy roads. If you got this far, I want to make another video based on this to go a little more in depth, but you're probably telling yourself right now, like, holy shit, like that just seems like a lot. I don't have the time to do that. Maybe you're in school, maybe you work full time and then go to school after that. Maybe you have a new family, right? You got a baby in the house. Yeah, I understand. I get it. You know, full time, plus your copywriting, plus you got family stuff and every other thing that comes in with life. I get it. It doesn't seem like there's enough time in the day. Especially the older you get, it seems like there's even less time. Time management is what I'm talking about here. Time management, so important. How many of us scroll through social media like a damn addict? Hi. Yeah, you add this up, you add up that time and you're gonna be disgusted in yourself. It's horrible. Well, take some of that time, right? If you're in the morning and you're just aimlessly scrolling, you get home, you aimlessly scroll, right before bed, you aimlessly scroll. Well, guess what? You can actually, I think, look this up and track how much time. Do that. And then go, okay, I'm gonna cut off a fraction of all those times and then go watch one educational YouTube video to start learning some fundamentals. I'm gonna use this allotted amount of 15 minutes or whatever it is, and I'm gonna go rewrite one email. Maybe it takes a half hour, maybe it takes an hour, but I'm gonna start and then we'll go from there. And then, you know, that's what you need to start doing. And once you make it a habit, because we're creatures of habit, and that's why social media, when you do, it's because you're just creating a bad habit. We are creatures of just a bunch of combined bad habits. You have to start breaking up some of those bad habits, replacing them with good habits, and you'll be amazed at what you can do. Amazed. My advice, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes when you get out of school or work, and 15 minutes before you go to bed. If you're gonna watch something on social media, it better be something that's educational towards your goals. In this case, copywriting, marketing, however you want, whatever you want to learn. I suggest obviously beginner stuff, you know, fundamentals. Spend some time rewriting emails, and then maybe 15 minutes going on these different boards and whatever, and applying for a job. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you today. Hopefully you got something out of this, obviously. Let me know if you have any questions. Just drop them down in the comments. I'll try my best to get right back to you. Obviously, as I just said, I'm pretty busy, but you know, this is all about community, and we need each other, especially people just starting out, right? There's so much crap out there, so much saturation of what to do, and you know, oh, I got the perfect answer for you. No, they don't. It's not as easy as they make it sound. You have to put in the reps, as you'll hear people say, you'll hear me say it. It is true. It's no different than going to the gym. You know, if you create unrealistic expectations and don't get the results you're looking for fast enough, you're going to get discouraged. So have realistic expectations, allot yourself some time, be patient, but be diligent. And goals are important, but guess what, guys? Everybody, you know, in the marathon has the same goal, but they don't all get there. Because why? They didn't train the same. They don't have the fundamentals and the work ethic, and they don't have the mentality. So goals are great, but they don't mean shit. Hard truths. Have a good one.